Here we go. Talking 13 through 15 here. And important to read the instructions up here. MRN is 55. 55. Boy, it's going to be... Yeah, I'll zoom in and then you can write it. And 55 there. And 95 here. So, those are those two things. Now, when we talk about SRT first, SRT definitely is a semicircle. So I'm going to write in semicircle. Just type semi for short. It's got to be 180. Then when I start talking about SR, okay, SR, that arc has to match, if I kind of follow it in, it's got to match that central angle that I just drew out. That central angle right here. Let me zoom in on it now. So that central angle, well, it's got to be a linear pair with 95. So that means it's 85. And I just talked about how SR has to match that. So SR has to be 85. SR 85. That is a minor arc. Now, NRM. I'm going to trace NRM. It's NRM going all the way around the circle. Another way to think about it would be I got to have the whole circle, 360, but I need to subtract out this little portion right here. I'm just going to call it X. So I want 360 minus this little arc NM here. So 360 minus X. How do I figure out what X is? Well, let's look at X itself is an arc. If I want to know more about it, sometimes what I do is I trace it back. So NM is the arc. Trace it back. Trace it back. Oh, it's really dealing with this 55-degree angle over here. 55's inscribed, so NM has to be double it. It's got to be 110. Okay, so... Hold up. Oh, it's 35. Crap. So your directions say 35. Mine said 55. Okay, it will still be okay. Just go back and that's 35, not 55. So it's got to be 70 out here. Get my eraser. So that's 70. So so that angle right here is 35. The arc has to be 70. So then, kind of thinking back to my big picture here, 360 minus 70 is 290. That's major, so sorry about that. Your instructions are different. This is not 55, it's 35 degrees. Whoops. So, as we finish up this section, find the length of RT. RT, well, look at RT. We kind of had a discussion on arc length before where it's you find the circumference. Circumference is diameter pi, so 10 pi. But it needs to be multiplied by the fraction of the circumference that we're dealing with. So in this case, RT, well, what fraction of the circle is that? When in doubt, just put it over 360. The arc has to be 95 because it has to match that central angle. So 95 over 360, divide that and then multiply it by 10 pi. In terms of pi, you're just going to get 2.6 pi. Lastly, finding the measure of angle RMN. RMN is right there. The key thing is to see that this triangle that I've outlined in gold is a right triangle because it's taking up a semicircle. So if it's a right triangle, and I've already said this is 35 over here, this guy has to be 55 degrees. Boom.